So here I am back in the bathroom remodel. I'm going to put this wall on. And this wall I'm going to use reclaimed privacy fence. I've never used that anywhere in my house on that build so far. But it's really good looking stuff, and I think it would lend itself well for this bathroom, this rustic bathroom. So this wall and the wainscoting will be privacy fence. It's really nice, weathered and gray, and it'll show you what you can do. You know, a lot of you, probably most of you, don't have access to barns or the tools and equipment to take a barn down, but privacy fence is everywhere. You know, a big windstorm comes through, you just go in there and volunteer to clean it up for free for the wood. You know, there's people that their privacy fence now is all weathered and worn and gray. They want a nice new fence, so they take it down. Well, tell them you'll take it down for the wood. The wood that I'm using in here, if you saw on one of my previous videos, when I took some trash to the dump, there was 2 dumpsters full of this wood. So I took the wood out of the dumpsters. The cops show up, told me it was illegal to steal from the dump. But they said it with a smile, and I just told them, okay, I wouldn't do it again. But some of that wood's going to be on this wall. And then I saw on Facebook where a lady posted that she had her privacy fence taken down, and it was stacked in her driveway, and she was looking for somebody to haul it off. So I went over there and hauled it off, and it's beautiful gray weathered wood. So let's get started on this wall. To do this, you're going to need some sort of a stapler. This is, of course, electric, but you can get one of those staple hammers, you know, anything. You can get them that just, you grip them, bam, staple, whatever. Just enough to tack up black. So what I'm going to do is cover this wall. This is just black tar paper. And the reason I like this as opposed to black you know, plastic, a roll of plastic, is this is a dull black, whereas plastic is a shiny black. And so when I put this wall up, it's going to, there's nail holes, there's knot holes where you'll be able to see through a knot hole, for example, or nail hole. Well, you don't want this light colored wood coming through. You want it to be black behind there. So I'm going to coat this wall with this black tar paper first, and then we'll work on getting some wood on here. So it's very important to get this first board on straight. If you're a little bit off, it's going to haunt you all the way through. And the corner is going to be covered anyway. Now in this particular build, I'm going to have rough posts up the corner, across the top, and then braces in there, so you can see where that's probably 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch off up there at the top. But it doesn't matter, it's going to be covered. So I'm not going to have these go clear to the floor because there's going to be baseboard along there anyway. So what I'm measuring here is okay. So, oh yeah, that's going to put nice. Nice. So this old house, nothing is square. Nothing. Every single thing I do, I have to cut to fit, shape, adjust. That's the case here. This bottom piece at the top is 6 7/8, and at the bottom it's 6 5/8. 6 7/8. So what I'm going to do is cut it under, because as I mentioned, there's going to be a post all the way through there that'll cover that seam. Okay. So I'm going to go 6 3/4, 6 1/2. I'm just going to cut them off. I'm going to cut it, rip it to 6 1/2, because that's all going to be covered anyway. All right, so that's how that's going to work. So I'm going to go out and cut this piece. Here again, it doesn't have to go clear to the top, because there's going to be a 4-inch rough cut post going across there. Once I get these pieces fit, then I'll go back and I'll finish nailing them. Right now I'm just tacking them. Once again, when I finish this window, there's going to be trim board around there, so I don't have to fit snug and tight. I think I'll just cut them 5 3/4. And then, so I brush them off with this brush, and then I hose them off with the air compressor. Blow air on them, and I brush them, blow, brush, until there's no more dust on them. If you pressure wash them, then you got to wait for them to dry, and then if they're not completely dry when you put them up, there may be some shrinkage. So in this case, I'm brushing them, taking the air hose to them, brushing them, and that's how I'm cleaning them up. If that first board isn't level, when you start cutting pieces across this window, then they're not going to come out over here. Chances are. So it's just always best to be level, which obviously when they built this house, those carpenters did not know that. So continuing on. Well, it's starting to take shape. This is the fun part. All this preparation, oh gosh. But when you finally get down to this, where you can start seeing things happen and your visions start to materialize, you know, this is the fun part. And there's knot holes all over. And that's why you want that flat black behind there. You do not want this light colored wood coming through that nail hole. But that's what I like, and that's what you'll like. As someone told me that builds with Reclaim, he always said the imperfections are the perfections. And that's why we use Reclaim. That's what I like about it. So anyway, continue on and finish that wall out. Okay, so what I got here is I've got a gap right there. It's tight up here, it's tight down here, but there's about 1/8 of an inch gap right there. So I'm going to show you how to solve that problem. First you need something, you screw a board into the wall, the ceiling, whatever you're working with. And you want that where you can slip your pry bar in there, or like this, and pull it over and nail it and close that gap. So I'm going to do that. Some gap right there. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn it around and see if maybe the other side has a little curve to it that'll close that gap. Nope, makes it worse. Alright, so we need to close that gap. So what I'm going to do, I can use this wall for a pry. I'm going to pry that over and close that gap. And there you go. There's still a tiny bit there, but not enough to matter. But that's what you do. You get your pry bar and you can put down a block of wood if it's out here in the middle of the space. Something to pry against and pull that gap over. And that is what I did that time. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot it just to make sure it doesn't come back. And so I left a gap here. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a beam right here. So I'll cut that bottom piece. And then this wall is going to be looking pretty good. Anyway, that privacy fence, if you see any of that stuff laying around, you better pick it up, because this is pretty good stuff. Now, one thing you have to watch out for is it's soft. Barnwood is hard. So like in the living room, the kitchen island, where the kids are sitting up there, and you know how kids are, they're swinging their legs, kicking the wood. They won't hurt barnwood. But if you were kicking this wood, you could scuff it up and cause a mar on it. So just keep that in mind of where you're going to use it. Rip it all down to exactly the same width. And what I ran into, this is the first time I've used privacy fence. And here again, it's off of 2 fences. But there's differences in thickness. Some of the boards were a full 1/2 inch thick, some were just a scotch under. So I had to kind of keep that in mind, button them up. But all in all, I think it turned out pretty nice. I do a 4-inch trim, so this will all be covered by trim. I'll cut this off. And my wife, she likes to set stuff around, maybe flowers or something. So I think right here, since it's back here where nobody's gonna be, or should be, I'm gonna extend out a ledge here where she could set a plant on or something like that. And then this will have wooden shutters on it. So anyway, there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the wainscoting on over there. Go ahead and knock that out, and then we'll be ready to put some beams up. So for that I just used a white pencil. This is a Stabilo pencil that I use in the sign business. Any kind of white, anything that'll show up on there. It doesn't matter. Now, like anything else, you want this first one to be level. So I'm going to let's get this first one level. And there it is, right there. So I'm just setting it even on the top of that line. And once again, I'm just going to tack them on and then go back and nail them. Same way with this wall. I haven't completely finished nailing this wall yet. But see, like that knot hole there, that hole, those holes, if I didn't have this black on here, that would be showing through. And then it just wouldn't look good, you know. I mean, look at that hole right there. But as long as you're on a black, flat black background, it's you know, gonna look fine, look normal. So that's the end of this wainscoting. There's going to be a little bit over there. Not too much, because that wall will have a lot of that wall be the vanity. And then over there will be built-ins all the way up. So anyway, went up pretty good. I'll go back now and I'll nail it. Any place like right there, it's kind of, you know, not flat, I'll push it in, nail it. I won't put a lot of nails in, although they are completely hidden. It doesn't really matter, but anyway, so I'll go back and nail it. So now let's go back and take a closer look at this fencing, this privacy fence wood, and see what you think. So here it is. Now see, like that hole right there, if I didn't have flat black behind there, you would see the light wood through it. Same way with that nail hole right there. You would see that light colored wood behind there. And look, and same way with those nail holes or screw holes that was in this wood. That one right there, see, it just looks like a dark hole. It doesn't look like, you know, man, it'd be a disaster if that light wood was showing through. See, there's another one. But look at this wood grain. This is very nice. Very nice. Alright, so the barn wood is, or not barn wood, this is privacy fence wood, but reclaimed wood. It's up on the wall, looks good. You saw how I do it. Just remember that this wood is softer than barn wood. Looks great, but you just want to keep that into consideration, you know, where you're going to use it, how you're going to use it. For the most part, it's a little easier to use than barn wood. For one thing, it's really doesn't weigh anything, really lightweight. So rip it down so each board is the same width. Bear in mind, look at the edges and make sure you don't have different thicknesses that you're going to be trying to match up. And so the only thing I have to do now is to go back and finish nailing it all in. And the next time we pick up here, I'll be putting the beams in. So anyway, if you like what you see, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll pick this up another day.